quick question, and it's one you've probably never actually asked yourself. Why is there only one kind of human? Think about it for a second. Dogs come in hundreds of breeds. There are dozens of kinds of cats, bears, birds, fish. They all come in different shapes and species. But humans, there's just us. One single type. The same basic creature, everywhere on the entire planet. And that feels completely normal. Of course, there's one kind of human. What else would there be? Here's the thing though, that's brand new. Because for almost the entire time humans have existed, it wasn't true, not even close. You used to have company, other humans, other kinds of people, walking the earth right alongside us, and then, one by one, they vanished. So that's what I want to figure out with you today. Who were they? What actually happened to them? And why are we, out of everyone, the only ones left? Trust me, by the end of this, you're going to look at being human a little differently. Okay, let's go back in time, not millions of years. That's the mistake everyone makes. We're going back just a few 100,000 years, recent in the grand scheme of things. And back then, the Earth was full of humans, but not the way you'd picture it. Scientists have found as many as 9 different species of human. 9. And here's the part that gets me. A bunch of them were alive at the same time. Same era. Same planet, sometimes even the same patch of land. Picture that for a second. A world where the word human didn't mean one thing. A world where you could walk over a hill, see a group of people in the distance, and slowly realize they're not quite like you. Shorter, maybe, or stronger, or just built a little different. Close enough that you'd know they were people. Different enough to make your skin prickle. That wasn't a movie. For our ancestors, that was just an ordinary day.
So who were they? Let me introduce you to a few of your long-lost cousins. First, the famous one, the Neanderthals. And do me a favour, that dumb grunting caveman in your head. Delete him, because it's just not true. Neanderthals had brains as big as ours, sometimes bigger. They made tools, controlled fire, wore clothes, cared for their sick, and buried their dead. They survived the brutal ice age in Europe for hundreds of thousands of years, far longer than we've existed in our current form. These weren't dumb brutes. They were people. Full stop. Then you've got the Denisovans, and these guys are basically a ghost story. We didn't even know they existed until 2010, when a single finger bone in a cave in Siberia turned out to have DNA, unlike anything alive today. And that was the entire discovery. We still barely have any of their bones. We mostly know them as a whisper hidden inside our own genes. And then it gets really strange. On an island in Indonesia, there lived a kind of human barely 3.5 feet tall. We literally nicknamed them the Hobbits. Tiny bodies, tiny brains, hunting and making tools on their little island. And here's the part that should give you chills. They were still alive as recently as 50,000 years ago. That's not the distant past. Our ancestors were already painting on cave walls while these tiny humans were still out there, living their lives. There were others too, another small species in the Philippines and deep in the caves of South Africa. Another one still, with a brain a third the size of yours, who may have buried their dead in the dark. Different humans, different shapes, different worlds. And every single one of them, gone. Now hold on, because I can already guess what you're thinking. You're picturing that famous image, aren't you? The monkey that slowly stands up, turns into a hunched caveman, and then into a guy in jeans. The straight line. Throw it out, seriously, because that picture is the single biggest reason people get this completely wrong. We did not evolve from Neanderthals. They weren't some stage we passed through. Think of it like a family tree. Way, way back there was one ancestor, and that ancestor split into different branches. One became us, another became the Neanderthals, another became the Denisovans. We're not parent and child, we're cousins, who grew up at the same time, just in different corners of the world. It's like lions and tigers. They both came from an earlier big cat, both still exist, and one never turned into the other. Same with us. Got it? Good. Because now we get to the real mystery. And this is the part that honestly keeps me up at night. For most of the last few 100,000 years, you were not alone. There was no law of nature that said only one kind of human gets to exist. And yet, somewhere around 40,000 years ago, one by one, every other branch of the family went quiet. The Hobbits? Gone. The Denisovans? Gone. The Neanderthals, who had ruled Europe for ages? Gone, until there was exactly one twig left on the entire tree. Us. So why? What happened to everyone else? I'll be straight with you, scientists are still arguing about this. But the main suspects make for a pretty haunting story. Suspect number 1. The climate. The last ice age was vicious. The whole planet kept lurching from deep freeze to sudden thaw and back again, and a species that's perfectly built for one specific world can get stranded when that world disappears. That may be exactly what happened to the cold-adapted Neanderthals. But hold on, that can't be the whole story, because we lived through that same ice age, and we made it. Which brings us to suspect number 2. And you're not going to love this one. It's us. When our ancestors spread out of Africa, they didn't walk into an empty planet. They walked into everyone else's home, and almost everywhere we showed up, the others faded away soon after. Maybe we simply outcompeted them. Bigger trade networks, better weapons, more flexible diets, larger and more connected groups. When two kinds of human want the same cave, the same river, the same herd of deer, the side with more allies usually wins. But here's my favourite theory, and I think it's the one that'll stick with you. Some scientists believe our real advantage wasn't strength, and it wasn't even raw brain power, because remember, the Neanderthals matched us on both. It was something sneakier. We were really, really good at one thing, teaming up with strangers. A Neanderthal group was tough, but small, and on its own, while a group of us was plugged into a web of hundreds. And when times get hard, when the food runs out and the winter just won't end, who falls first? The isolated, the alone. So maybe we didn't win because we were stronger. Maybe we won because we were better at needing each other. But now here's the twist that flips the whole story on its head. The other humans didn't just disappear. In a very real way, we absorbed them. Because when our ancestors met these other kinds of humans, they didn't only fight them, they fell in love with them and had children with them. And that means this isn't ancient history. It's literally inside you. If you have any ancestry from outside Africa, then right now, in your DNA, you're carrying around 1 to 2% Neanderthal genes. Genes that shaped your immune system, your skin, even how you sleep. So let that land. The Neanderthals didn't fully die out, and the Denisovans didn't fully vanish. They're still here, broken into pieces, scattered across billions of people alive today, including, very possibly, you. They're not just our cousins, they're our family. And part of that family didn't go extinct, it merged into us. And somehow, that makes where we are now even stranger. Because for the first time in the entire history of humankind, there is only one of us left, the last one standing on a planet that used to be shared. For something like 99% of the time there have been humans, there was always someone else out there, looking back at us. And now? There's only you. So here's the thought I'll leave you with. The next time you're out in the world, surrounded by people, take a real look at them. Every single face is the same kind of human as you. And once upon a time, that's not a promise anyone could have made. We're what's left. The last humans standing. The only question is whether that was destiny, or just the way the dice happened to fall. Follow and subscribe for more. If you have anything you'd like to know about, leave a comment and I'll be happy to make a video on it.